Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips with a Z on Instagram, Pothead Picker on X, and then just Flips and Giggles on Facebook or whatever the fuck you use. If you like the show, make sure you subscribe. Spotify, iTunes. I'm not on YouTube yet. Eventually I'm going to convert all of these episodes to YouTube, and then once we have the video set up, then it'll be on YouTube. But anyway, it's a rainy day here. It was like fucking coming down a lot earlier. I had to do a Facebook meetup. It was a guy I know that I sell stuff to all the time, so he came and picked it up, but it was really, really pissing outside this morning, so I'm kind of worried about the basement. It's supposed to be windy later. I've talked about the basement issues we've had before in the past, but I remember we came down the first time it happened. We had already kind of like prepped for a flood. So I took like everything off the floor. I think there was like one box of stuff that got fucked, and it was stuff that like wasn't really even that like big of a deal. A bunch of posters got fucked up, which would suck. That was probably the biggest one because I paid $5 for this huge thing of posters. It was all good shit. Like I still was selling stuff out from that poster bin even after it got fucked up, like, you know, with the damage disclosed or whatever. But man, I would have made so much more money had that fucking flood not. And obviously now I'm a lot more aware of it. That was when I first started, you know, selling on eBay. But yeah, man, that was. I remember I just came downstairs and I took one step into the basement. You couldn't even see that it was flooded. As soon as I took a step down, I was like, oh, it was up to my ankles. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just the way our basement is set up is like when you look under the tile, it's just like straight up like fucking ground almost. There's like a little layer of floor in the basement. Like you step from when you come into the basement, our basement is set up into two sections. So like, there's one section you walk in, that's like where we live, and then there's a little hallway where there's a bathroom, and then like through that other door straight is the other side of the basement where it opens up under the other side of the house where my mom lives. So my mom lives on the same property. And I just remember I walked in and there was fucking water everywhere. That was the first time. And then there was another time that it happened. Luckily, like everything was already like, you know, put away and organized because we had already had a few floods. But there was something that happened with like the sewage line. I think like the sewage ejector stopped working or something. Like, so it overflowed out of the toilet. It was a fucking mess. So we called, I think, like Roto-Rooter, just because we didn't know what to do. We were like, you know, we're fairly new homeowners. So we called Roto-Rooter and we're like, yeah, this is what happened, blah, 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 blah. And they come, so they tell us they don't know how to fix what we had them come fix, but this lady comes in like she fucking owns the place, and she just like starts trying to set me up for some like their cleaning service. I'm like, bitch, I don't even fucking know who you are. Like, I would never call Roto-Rooter again. Like, I know corporate fucking jobs and shit, like they have their stupid requirements, but like we literally called them when we were having a fucking sewage like crisis, you know what I mean? And they sent this fucking bitch over with a group of people, like a group of fucking people. And then after the fact, they're like, we can't help you, but if you want us to clean all this shit up, like what the fuck? So got rid of them. I think we just ended up getting a plumber. I think my buddy actually came out and fixed it for me. Got that shit taken care of, and then like had to just like disinfect the entire, like it was all on the floor. Luckily nothing was like, you know, but that was disgusting. It was fucking gross. And fuck that lady from Roto-Rooter. I'm sure she was probably paid to do that, but like it was crazy. They just walked in like, yeah, let's get you signed up for cleaning. Like, you don't want this shit, like, and then trying to like scare you into it. Like, you got kids. Like, I was like, no, get the fuck out of here. I can clean this shit. Like, I have bleach. I've got like rubber gloves. Like, it's gonna suck for me to do, but like you just walked in like for a service I didn't ask you for, and yeah, that was fucking very bizarre. So now anytime it rains, I just sit down in the basement like waiting for the floods to start. But I don't know. We have a generator, so if the water, like, it's crazy. Like, anytime the power goes out, I have to, there's like, I only have a few seconds. Because I thought, like, one time I thought, like, oh, like, you know, the generators, like, the generator goes out, we have some time. Like, it was the middle of the night, I think. What time was it? It was like probably like 4 or 5 in the morning. The first time I think it happened. And I was like, oh, like I heard the power go out, and I was like, all right, well, like we'll deal with it in the morning. Like I'm sure it's not gonna flood between now and then. And like it fucking flooded, and that's happened before where we're like, oh, it started to, like the power went out, and I was like, all right, I got like a couple minutes to do this. I get downstairs and it already started flooding. So like, yeah, it starts flooding quick. So luckily those sump pumps run all the time, but yeah, it's not my ideal spot to keep all my inventory. Like I want to get eventually out of the basement. Plus, I mean, I want that, it's like extra space where we can store shit, and it's just all taken up by my business, which again is also very unorganized at this point. But I have been like really hammering through my death pile. So I have a very small death pile now, and a couple of them are like lots, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's only like a handful of individual items left that I need to take picture to get inventorized. But like, this is the closest I've been to caught up ever. I know I'm not going to get caught up. I'm realistic about it. I understand what reselling is. Like a few years ago, I was like, man, I would be so overwhelmed because I just was like, I can't keep up with all the shit coming in. But now I just understand that it's part of the game, it's part of being a reseller. It's like, you're going to have a ton of shit come in when you least expect it. You know what I mean? Like right now I'm like, oh, my fucking death pile is fucking gone. And somebody could call me today and be like, hey, I've got a ton of shit for you. So you just never know. I actually had a guy reach out. I reached out to them in like May or March. Like, this is how long ago it was. Because they sent me a message and I was like, who the fuck is this? And they were like, oh, I have these things. And there was like all stuff I'm interested in buying. And then I see that I had sent them a message. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I thought it was somebody just reaching out. You know what I mean? Because it had been so long. And then I reached back out to them and I'm like, hey. So I looked at their profile. Anytime somebody like has stuff for sale, I kind of look at their profile to see if they're a reseller, to see if they know what the fuck they're doing. And like, you could tell this guy resold the same shit as me. So I'm like, I'll respond just to see what he says. And this fucking dude responds like, this was months after he first posted saying he had stuff to sell. And he like, this fucking dude replies with his whatnot link. And he's like, hey, you should follow me on this new platform. I'm like, you fucking piece of shit. So I didn't even respond just because I was like, well, one, I forgot until I was just talking about it just now. But I also am just like, I'm not fucking, maybe I can get some good deals. Maybe he doesn't have that many followers and I should follow him, but I'll check it out and see, who knows. Maybe I can get some good deals still, better deals than, because he thought he would be better on whatnot, but who knows. He might start them all fucking high. I think I looked on his whatnot page and it was like, it had actually like the stuff in his shop that he was trying to sell and it was all marked pretty high. So a lot of the resellers in my area just do not know how to sell shit, man. Like, they don't know how to wheel and deal. They don't know how to negotiate. Like, if you hit somebody up like, hey, would you take this for that? Like, no. I'm one of the only people I feel like in this area that like is willing to take offers. Like, there's one guy who just always sends me offers. I'm like, sure. You know what I mean? I rarely say no to an offer unless it's like egregious. Like, there's another guy who hits me up who I've sold to in the past. But he he thinks he's entitled. Like, he thinks he's entitled because he's bought from me in the past. So like, he feels like I'm entitled to give him a better deal. He'll be like, oh yeah, I bought from you in the past. I'm like, I don't give a shit. And then he'll come to my yard sales. I think I've talked about this before and complain that like, I opened early or that he missed out because whatever. The guy's a fucking dork. A lot of the people that do this are fucking dorks. It's like, I don't understand how you're making any money. Like, I don't. So anyway, yeah, that's my whole spiel. I don't know how I started about the rain and then moved on to that topic, but whatever. It killed a few minutes. But yeah, just like hammering through a ton of lots. I just sold a lot of Transformers today. And to that guy, I think I've talked about him before, who's he's definitely like, he's like my age, so like mid-30s, and he's definitely a hoarder. So it's weird to see people like that age, being a hoarder. And I'm essentially like his drug dealer. You know what I mean? He comes to get his fix from me. So like when I think my neighbors think, well, I don't know if they think that I'm a drug dealer. If you didn't know like what our like if I just had like moved into this house and people didn't know that like we have a family with kids and they just saw cars coming to the house, like, I mean, it's not like constantly cars coming to the house, but at least 2 times a week, there's people coming down here for quick pickups, drop-offs. But the other thing too is like Amazon comes down in regular cars. You know what I mean? And my mom is elderly and disabled. So I think a lot of the stuff that I think in my head is just in my head. Like, I don't think my neighbors ever thought I was selling fucking drugs. You know what I mean? I think I just listened to the J. Cole song. Neighbors think I'm selling dope. And I was like, oh, that's me. Yeah. But like, yeah, I don't think that they actually think that. But yeah, so this dude came today and picked up some stuff. And I had like my Christmas decorations out because we were going to put them up. Like, we put up some of them, but then we, get busy, whatever. So we just pulled out the other two big ones out and we're getting ready to put them up. And then my kid got sick the last 2 days. So my oldest was home from school Monday and Tuesday. And so like, we were planning on getting them done. And then whenever stuff like that happens, it just like, it throws off the whole rhythm. Like, we had time to do it, but we forget, you know what I mean? Because you're doing different things when the kid's staying home. So he saw those and he was like, are those for sale? He's got a massive Christmas fucking setup at his place that I think I took my kid. I know I took my kid, but I can't remember if I talked about it before. But we took my kid over there like last week. And he's like, yeah, he said that there's more since the last time we went over there. So he's just got a shitload of Christmas stuff. So he's a hoarder of even Christmas stuff too. I don't know how he keeps all that shit. He must have like fucking rooms of storage. His wife must fucking hate him. Like, he's not really selling the shit. I'm sure he is selling some of it, but man, he works. I think he works and he's selling that shit. Like, good luck, man. I can't. I hate when like stuff just starts to spill into the other room. Like right now I'm still looking at the He-Man figures. Oh yeah, a little update on that. So I got those He-Man figures for free. So the lady reached out to me and she was like, oh, is this piece part of the He-Man stuff? So I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. And then she hits me up and she's like, hey, I found more figures. So I'm like, perfect, awesome. So she gives them to me and I start going through them all. And like most of them, again, are still complete. All the newer ones she gave me were complete. But then I'm down to like the last few accessories. There's like a bunch, not a bunch, but like a good amount. And so I'm like, oh, let me scan this one. And I scan it and it goes to Scare Glow. So if you're familiar with He-Man toys, Scare Glow goes for some good money, like if he's complete. And all his accessories are there in the bin. I'm like, motherfucker, like I know that Scare Glow's there somewhere. Mind you, I already found another like almost $400 toy. So I just messaged the lady. I'm always very polite to this lady. So I'm like, hey, thanks again for the He-Man toys. I really appreciate it. Because she had said, oh, I think that's the last of them the last time. I said, I have a feeling you might find a few more. LOL, like trying to be cheeky or whatever. And I go, so if you come across any, definitely let me know. I'll be right over to grab them. I definitely appreciate it. Thanks again, blah, blah, blah. Just overly polite and nice and kind. But then she didn't respond to me. Like, she's responded the last couple times, but she didn't respond to that one. So I was like, oh boy, I probably did too much. But I feel like if she found them, like, what the fuck else is she going to do with them? Put them back on Facebook, having to deal with all that nonsense again? Like, I'm going to come show up. Just fucking hit me up. I'm coming to get them. I'll be right there. But the accessory alone, the two accessories that I have for Scare Glow are like, I could probably sell them for over $100 just for the accessories. So, I'm really hoping that it comes through, but I can't be, she gave me a ton of shit for free. Didn't ask for any money. And normally, like, if it's a situation where it's like somebody who I think could use the money, I'm like, all right, I'll offer you some money. But this lady did not need any money. Her house was fucking huge. Pretty sure she was a widow. Because I never, like, normally when you pick stuff up from a lady, like, the guy always answers. Or, like, you see a dude somewhere, but, like, it was just one vehicle there the whole time. So, I don't know. She might have been a widow. Or maybe she was just old and single. I don't know. Who knows? She definitely had kids, though, because she was like, oh, these are my kids' stuff. And I had asked her about anything else that she might have, and she said that, like, nothing her kids want to get rid of. So, it is what it is. I love free shit. If you're saying something's free, I'm going to take it for free. You know what I mean? If you're like, hey, we'd appreciate some donations, I'm going to donate to you. But if you're just like, take the shit, I just want it gone, say less, as the kids would say. I'm taking them. I'm going to take them. So yeah, so I'm just like still going through those. Not even going through them. I mean, they're all the ones that are complete. But like in my head too, I'm like, fuck, do I sell these now or do I wait until she reaches out? Because in my mind, they still have all the little mini comic books somewhere. Like, if I could just match up all the figures to the mini comic books too, it would be crazy. I mean, who knows what she's, I know she's got more toys because she was like, oh, my kids have stuff they don't want to get rid of. They didn't care about the He-Man stuff, apparently, but she's like, they have more stuff that they don't want to get rid of. So I was just trying to keep in touch, be friendly. So that way when the call does come, she's like, hey, just come get all this shit. We don't want it anymore. Boom. I'm going to be in there like swimwear, just fucking cleaning out that whole house. So getting closer to Christmas. So I've been like listing like a motherfucker. I haven't been taking any pictures. Like I've been picturing stuff as it's come in. And occasionally like I pictured a couple of those He-Man figures just because they were complete and go for a lot of money. I figured I'd throw some stuff up. But yeah, it's last weekend was pretty busy. It's of course Monday just started slowing down. I still had a few sales late yesterday, and then I had one today plus the Facebook sale today, which kind of makes up for it. But yeah, it's crazy. I got the amount that I'm listing is crazy, and it should like I'm assuming this weekend will be really busy because I think the cutoff at the post office is like the 21st. So like this week will be busy, and then hopefully next week is pretty busy. And then once it gets too late for like post office sales, I'm going to try to list as much shit as I can. Like from the 21st to the 25th, I'm just going to be listing on Facebook. I mean, I'll list some shit on eBay because people are still buying. You know what I mean? People are just like, not everybody celebrates Christmas. Not everybody, has family for Christmas. So sometimes people are like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to buy myself a Christmas present. So a lot of times I'll get some sales like that. So, it's just you got to kind of be always listing. Always be listing. ABL. Always be listing. So, yeah. But as it gets closer and closer, I mean, we'll see. I've been trying to get on top of I already ordered my wife's big present, the most expensive one. So now I'm like, all right, now I just have to buy all the fucking bullshit. Actually, I have one more expensive present. Not like crazy expensive, but it was supposed to be a birthday present, and then it ended up getting pushed back to a Christmas present, just because I was talking about her ring. So like she had asked for some like, it was like a the fuck was it? It was like a ring kit. And she used your breast milk to make. I don't know. It says it's a DIY, so I think she makes it herself. And she couldn't understand. Like my wife couldn't understand that. I was like, no, I think you make it. She's like, well, are you gonna order it in time for it to get here? Because I had to finally be like, because she was telling me about my gift, which she's getting me one of the Aura rings. So I've been wanting a heart monitor for a long time for my workouts because they like incorporate the heart monitor into the workouts that I do. And I just like, she's bought me a few that have all been dog shit. And then one year she was like, oh, I'm going to get you an Apple Watch. And so we got an Apple Watch, and I was just like, I honestly do not think that I will use most of the features on this fucking thing. Like, I wasn't going to use any of the watch features. I wasn't going to use any of the phone features. I was literally just going to use it as a heart monitor. So I was like, this is not necessary. So then this year she was like, oh, do you have any, she had to tell me because she was like, needed to get my size and see if I was okay with it. Because she buys me shit, and then I'm like, I mean, I don't just say no, but she'll ask me. She'll be like, hey, do you like, but if it's something expensive, I don't want you spending money on me if I know I'm not going to use it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like, oh, you should be grateful and just accept the gift. And it's like this whole holiday is just built on, I'm almost positive that this holiday had to have started as like a corporate holiday because it's all about fucking buying presents and spending this and spending that. You know what I mean? It's like, if I can just alleviate some of that spending for no fucking reason, for something I'm not going to use, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to be rude about it, but I'm going to be like, yeah, I probably won't use it. Like, I just don't want to waste the money, or, you know what I mean? Like the last gift I got, and here's the thing. When I get gifts now, so like I got that gift, So like my wife a couple years ago got me, and I love my wife, but like a couple years ago she got me a sous vide, which is like it's like a little wand that you use in the kitchen, and you like put it in water to fucking like heat up. I think you heat up. I don't even know how it works. I haven't even used it. That was like 3 years ago. So she got me that, and I was like, yeah, this is. And the thing about getting like obviously role reversals in this house, exist because my wife works full time. I'm technically the stay-at-home dad, even though I run a business. But like, I do all the cooking. We split all the cleaning and shit. But like, it would be like back in the day, like giving a housewife like a broom or like a new apron or like a pan. It's just like, oh yeah, this is what you need. It's like, I don't want this. I cook because I used to cook out of like, oh, it's fun, I like to cook, blah blah blah. But now I cook because like I have to make sure that everybody's fed. Like I have to make sure my wife's fed, my kids are fed. So I make dinner and I fucking cook breakfast. I cook like all the fucking meals. Occasionally my wife cooks. I've talked about this before. I'm not going to, beat a dead horse, but so she got me that a couple years ago and haven't used it. So for my birthday a couple months ago, my wife's like, "Oh, I've got this pizza maker." And like, is it something that you think you'll use? And as I'm like, I got to be honest with you, I'm probably not going to use it. It was like a small, like it was something that you had to store, and then, you know what I mean? So it's like, we've got a waffle maker. We've got all these fucking makers and different things that are just in cabinets that I always forget about because they're so unnecessary 90% of the time. Like whenever I make pizza, I have 2 pizza pans. I can fucking make pizza. No problem. Easy. No problem. Never had an issue making pizza. But for some reason, my wife was like, I'm going to get you a pizza maker. And it's something that you're going to like want to do. Like I don't want, if I'm cooking all the time, I don't want things to make it like, not necessarily even easier for me. Like a pizza maker is just like, oh, this is another thing that I now have to clean, figure out. Like those things are a pain in the ass to clean. It's like, I'm sure it was probably easy to clean, and I don't want to sound ungrateful because I got some cool video games. That's what I asked for. But like, if I want to blow off some steam, I'm not going to be like, oh, let me make some pizzas. You know what I mean? Like maybe a few years ago before I had kids and like I didn't cook constantly, but now I'm like, I do all the fucking cooking. So now I'm going to have to cook. So now that my gift is that I'm going to get something new to cook with, like, again, I don't want to sound ungrateful, but the same thing with my mom. My mom got like, she's like, oh, I've got a Christmas present over here. You can probably come over and get it and open it because you probably can use it right now. And I go, okay, that's weird. So I go over and I get it. I open it. It's 6 rolls of fucking packing tape. I'm like, I'm hoping it's a joke. Like, honestly, I don't need anything. I'd rather get nothing. I'm not like, oh, bah humbug. I don't need anything. I'm not somebody, whenever I try to think of things that I need, I generally just don't like, there's like these armbands that I want for working out. And then the heart monitor. That was like, stuff for working out. Video game stuff, just stuff that I can do that's not like work related or cooking related or house related. And she gets me 6 rolls of fucking packing tape, which I get a tax write-off for, which I've told her in the past, like, don't buy anything for my business because I get a tax write-off for those things. And this is supposed to be a gift for me because I have to buy one less thing of tape that I get a write-off of anyway. So I was like, I guess thank you. I haven't talked to her about whether she was serious, if that's seriously a gift for me or not. I mean, she might have just gotten it on special, and like, half the time I can't tell if my mom's fucking around. That's like the problem is like 90% of the time, neither one of us can tell when we're fucking around with the other one. So I don't know. I'm hoping that she was fucking around and she's just like, oh, this was on special and she just picked it up. But if that was a gift, I'm going to have to say something because I just don't want to fuck. Like, it's just, yeah. And it's and it's Scotch tape, which I like Scotch tape. Like they're little tiny things of tape. But Scotch tape, packing tape is the absolute worst fucking packing. The shit packing tape that I get in bulk right now is way better than the Scotch packing tape. And now I have 6 rolls of that fucking shit that I have to go through. So, yeah. Yeah. I appreciate it, but like, it just doesn't make sense. So anyway, I'm going to move on. I'm going to get my little thing here because I'm a little, so this was something I found out. I know this is completely fucking random, but I buy a lot of fruit, obviously, because I have kids. Kids eat a lot of fruit. And I used to eat like a ton of bananas. Not a ton, but like a banana a day. So I read that like potassium's good and this, that, and the other. And so I would eat a banana a day. And then we had kids. And then you realize, holy shit, these kids go through fucking bananas. But in my mind, I always believed that a bunch of bananas, like just like a bunch or whatever, I don't know if that's what they call them, a satchel of bananas. I don't know what they call them. A bunch of bananas. I used to be under the impression that it was like the same cost as like strawberries, and you know, strawberries are fucking expensive. For the shit strawberries you get most of the time, they're expensive. You know what I mean? You go to like a farm stand, you're getting a shitload more strawberries, and they're going to be a lot better tasting, look better. They don't necessarily last longer, but the ones that you get at the store, they just like are hard. They're like, you know, I don't know why I'm talking about strawberries right now. Anyway, bananas, I always just assumed that they were like expensive. And not like expensive like, oh, we're going to have to go bankrupt because we buy an extra bunch of bananas, but like I always assumed that they were up there in cost. And so like I'm terrible. I do the grocery shopping. I don't like, my wife puts all the coupons in, so I don't have to like do any of that, which I would do, but it's confusing because it's under her, like we use her number the most, so she has all the points. So if we switched over to mine, it's annoying. So she likes to do the coupons anyway, so we just leave it the way it's been working. And so I had to go in just for like a handful of stuff. And typically when I go in for a handful of stuff, it ends up getting like a ton of stuff. But this time it was just really like 5 things. So I could actually see what it rang up as, and it broke down. I was like, oh, how much are these bananas? So that was the thing. I was buying bananas for my mom and buying bananas for us. And we get the organic bananas, and she's just like, whatever, you know. We pick and choose what organic fruit we get. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. I just do what I'm told. So I look, and it says $2.18 for the entire order of bananas, the organic bananas. And then I ring in the other one, it's like $1.37 for the bunch of bananas. You know what I mean? So like they were like $2 for a bunch of bananas. I called I don't remember if I called my wife or I just went right home and I was like, why didn't you tell me bananas were so cheap? Like I legitimately thought that bananas were like, I just couldn't justify paying that much for a bunch of bananas. So I just never actually like paid that much for bananas, but I couldn't tell you what bananas cost. Apparently it's just a couple cents per pound because they're not that expensive. I can start eating banana. I told my wife, I'm like, we're a banana family again. We got 2 bunches of bananas right now. I can eat bananas again without feeling like my kids are going to fucking starve. They eat more than just bananas, but there was a period where it was like they'd eat a lot of bananas. Not like a ton, like they weren't getting bound up like, you know, shit-wise. They weren't getting constipated from the amount of bananas, but I don't know if you knew that, but bananas make you constipated if you eat too much of them. Little pro tip. Anyway, all right. On to the next. So, this is a funny story. So there's a little church, not even a church thrift store. It's like a little thrift store in town that I go to. Or not even in town. It's like the next town over. So I go there sometimes when I'm going to the post office. And my wife happened to be off. This was, I think, yesterday. So I was like, all right, go to the post office, run over to the thrift store, you know, see if we can find anything. So I go in. I only found like a vintage Red Sox t-shirt, which, I mean, sometimes those things can be worth some money. Sometimes, you know, not so much. It's probably like a $25 t-shirt, if that. And it was from like Y2K, like 2000. And so I go, you know, I'm shopping around, and then I go to leave. And the lady that's in there that day wasn't somebody who I like know very well. She's like, she's usually not there the days I go in. So as I'm walking out, this lady's walking in with like a Bose, one of those Bose CD players, but it's only like the accessory part, like the extra CD extension. So I should have just asked her right when I walked by, like, hey, are you donating that? But I just like, I had to like get the courage to do it. So I got to the car and I was like, fuck, I should go back in there and check and see. They might like put that right out, you know? So I go back and try to, you know, I'm trying to get it before she prices it or whatever. And so she like, I walk back in, I was like, oh, I'm back, you know? And she's like showing her the CD player and she's like, oh, she's like asking the other people if they want to buy it. There's a lady who works at the store. She's like, oh, asking this old lady, do you want to buy the CD player? She's like, no, you know. And so I was like, I'm interested in it. She goes, you are? And I go, yeah, I actually saw her walking in with it. So I decided to come in. And the lady was like, oh, you should have told me. I would have sold it to you outside. I should have, because it would have probably been cheaper, probably $10 cheaper. And so the lady's like, oh, yeah, like, look it up, blah, blah, blah. So the lady, like, she's like, oh, I don't know how much the price for it. And I should have, like, just been like, oh, I'll give you $10 for it. You know, should have done a bunch of things, but whatever. It actually works out that I didn't, because it's pretty funny what happened. So she looks it up and she goes, oh, and I could see, I'm like, oh, fuck, she can see like what it's worth. And like the other thing to consider is like most of the listings on eBay for these things were damaged, which I didn't know until I left. I should have checked that first. So like damaged, they were going for like 50 to 60. So, you know, so she's like, oh, how about like $25? And I go, would you do 20? And she goes, yeah, I'll do 20. So I'm like, all right. No, not thinking that like I don't have a way to test it. I should have just been like, I'd probably be closer to 10 just because I should have looked it up too. When she looked it up, I should have looked it up. That's what I should have done. And then I should have, you know, offered her whatever, $10. But it was a $10 difference, probably what I would have ended up paying anyway. But she sells it to me for $20 right in front of this fucking lady's face who just donated, like literally 1 minute before she walked in with this thing to donate. And she sold it for $20. That lady was probably so mad. I would have been so mad. I'd have been like, can I have my CD player back? Like, I literally just put it down and you guys sold it. And, like, I would have been hella mad. So, I just thought that was funny. They just straight up fucking sold it to me for $20 in this lady's fucking face. Like, gangster, dude. Those old ladies are fucking gangsters. Like, they don't give a fuck. But, yeah. I thought that was funny. I mean, to just, like, I should have, obviously, there's a lot of things I should have done in that scenario. But I'm not in those scenarios very often. I always see people with, like, T-shirts and things that I'm interested in. I'm like, should I say something to them? Like, I've thought about buying cheap T-shirts, like, different sizes, just to have them on me in case I'm in a scenario where I see, like, a cool vintage shirt. I can be like, hey, I got a shirt for you. Let's fucking swap them out. I'll give you money for yours. You get a new shirt. Win-win. Blah, 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 blah. But I just have never done it. So, like, yeah, it took me a minute to work up the courage. And then I went in and, yeah, I was, you know, it is what it is. It was pretty funny, though, that it happened that way. That they just were like, oh, thank you. They literally had it in their possession for a tenth of a second, turned around and sold it to me. It was like, we didn't need that middleman. Could have probably saved me some money. You would have gotten some money. And then, like, but, you know, at the end of the day, I thought it was funnier for the podcast. So for the sake of podcast, I spent the extra $10 so I could give you that story. Okay, this is fucking flying along here. So this week there's an auction. There's not a ton of sales. Obviously, it's kind of getting to that time of year. My wife wants to go see her family. It's my wife's mom's birthday, so we got to go to another state. So I'm trying to, like, I always like try to figure out the best way to do it, to try to source, to try to you know, if there's like sales there, then I'm like, all right, let's go Friday night, and then we can go out. I can go out sourcing in the morning. But there's like an auction it's on the way to their house, but it's still about a couple hours from their house. So I'm like, man, do I go? But there's a Tom Brady rookie card, and I have missed out on Tom Brady. I've told this story before. When I went to a sale, I was there forever. I don't know if I'll keep it short, but I was at the sale talking to the guy. The guy had a bunch of vintage tees, like vintage hats. I'm shooting the shit with him, looking around at all this stuff. And then like on the table is just a little baggie of like sports cards, like just some bullshit cards. And I didn't look through the cards because I just thought they were bullshit cards. This other guy shows up. He's like a neighbor and he's looking through the cards and he's asking how much for the cards again. And the guy just like, I don't know, like $2 a piece. And as he's flipping through the cards, I see the Tom Brady rookie card. I'm like, oh my goodness, I should have fucking. And I'm over here wasting my time on shit. The stuff that I got from that sale, I think I sold one thing. The rest of it ended up in the yard sale. And that Tom Brady rookie card, I'd still have it today. I would have gotten it graded and it'd be worth fucking however much. So it's just there's a sensitive spot for that card. So there's an auction this weekend. I don't think it's going to be they don't advertise very well. It's an estate sale company. I go to a few of their estate sales, but they've started to pick up a little bit in the last couple weeks. So I'm like really contemplating, like, should I just go to the auction and then meet my family afterwards? I think I might have to do that. I don't know. I keep going back and forth. I got to look at the picture of the card to see if they have better pictures of it. But, if I can get that card for like $100 to $150, $200 maybe, then, it's definitely worth it. But it depends on the condition. It depends, you know what I mean? I've wanted a Tom Brady rookie just because that thing's going to just go up, Yeah. So anyway, I don't know. I'm contemplating just going to this fucking thing and going to the auction and seeing what happens. But who knows? I don't know if I'm going to have time. I might have to skip it. One of these days I'll get a Tom Brady rookie card. But man, that one I still think about that. We all have ones. The guy who just came today, actually, that picked up the toys for me. I don't know if I've even talked to him about this. I need to talk to him about this. So there was a sale so I was driving around. This is like yard sale season a couple years ago. I still think about this, a couple years ago. And there was a sign. It was like probably half a mile from my house. And I had a couple sales on my list. So I'm like, all right, I'll hit those other sales. I'll go check out this sign. This sign wasn't on my list. Didn't know what time they were starting. And instead of going and just like checking it out, I'm like, I'll go do a couple other things, whatever. So I go and I finally go to check out this sale, and I walk up and I see Homeboy there, and he looks for the same shit as me, and there's a pile of video game stuff, and I go to grab it, and he's like, oh, that's all mine. I'm like, fuck. So I immediately like left. I was annoyed, obviously, because, I had gone by that sign I don't know how many times. And instead of just going to check out the sale, I fucking didn't. I went and did other shit and then missed out on the video games. So I still think about that. Luckily for me that day, I went to another sale, and they had a bunch of Funko Pops, like loose Funko Pops. They were all horror, and so I came to a deal with them all. Like paid 20 or 25, and the lady was like, "Yeah, there was another guy here who didn't want to pay that much. He offered me, something, but he didn't want to pay that much." I was like, "Oh yeah, well I guess I worked out for me." So I get back. I didn't think anything of it, and then I looked up like the name, or I looked up the different Funko Pops, and one was like a ghost face from Scream, but because the letters were like capitalized or something like that, it was worth more, or there was no space or something. I forget what it was. It was either there was no space or there was a space, something like that. But it ended up being like a $400 Funko Pop, like $300 or $400 Funko Pop. So I ended up selling that. I probably made more on that than I would have on the video games, and I probably would not have gone to that sale had I got those video games. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you get satisfied. You're like, I don't need to keep going out. Sometimes if I find a ton of shit, it's still early in the morning, I'll call it. You know what I mean? I could go out and find even more stuff, but I'm like, I've already got enough shit for the day. I don't need to keep going out. But, yeah, so that kind of worked out. I ended up finding that thing and selling it for a lot more money than it actually would have been worth for all of the fucking video games. Man, I just like blew through most of my list. I've been playing Silent Hill 2. That was one of the games. That was a game I got for my birthday for my wife. And even that, it's like, of all the games I picked, like, listen, it was on my list. You know what I mean? It was on my actual list. You got me something on my list. Bet you got me the game that's like fucking so creepy and terrifying. Like, I know I'm an adult, and I know it's all fucking make pretend, and like, even the monsters in that game, I don't know if you've ever played Silent Hill, but they like don't have arms. They just kind of like lurch toward you, and then they spit acid. So they're not they're not scary. Yeah, they're creepy looking. I mean, in the original, it was like, it was really scary. The graphics were shittier back in the day, so it was a little bit more grainy. But this one, it's just, I don't know what it is. I can only play for a couple minutes before I'm like, oh my gosh, this is too scary. And it's not even like scary. It's just creepy. I was trying to use the headset for it the other day, but I couldn't figure out how to get it hooked up to the new system. And I only had limited time to play. So I had to like, quick. But yeah, it's fucking scary. And even that, it's like, it feels like I'm torturing myself when I play, because I'll play for like 5 minutes to 10 minutes at a time, and then I run back to the save point. I'm like, like, I'm done. I'm okay. I'll just chill here. So yeah, but that's a fun ass game. And then I've been obsessed with watching people play DayZ, which apparently is a few-year-old game, but a couple of these videos have popped up on my YouTube feeds, and I just have like started watching them. But it's like a survival game with zombies, and I don't know if I could ever play it. I don't know if I think it's a PC game anyway, so I don't have a PC, but I don't know if I could. I don't know. I don't know if I could do it, because it's a lot of like interacting with other players, and I'm not a big talking to other people online type of person. I don't know. I'm just weird about it. I guess it's almost like a phone call, but I just need to get over it and try it out. I got to find out if they have a version for PlayStation. I'm sure it's probably like Steam or something like that. My cousin's boyfriend or husband, I don't know what he is. But he's got one. He's got a Steam Deck. It's pretty fucking sick. I saw it on Thanksgiving. His kid was playing it. I was like, dude, this thing's fucking badass. So he's telling me like he's got like his whole library from when Steam first came out. I was like, god damn, all that shit. So I gotta try it out. I don't know. I might have to get on the Steam train. Find a Steam Deck. If I could find one of those at a yard sale, that'd be fucking. I would have to keep that thing, even though it goes for some money. So yeah, and then I had talked about how I like was back owed on my business license, because you have to pay. So if you have an LLC, you have to pay like $500 a year to keep it up with it. And so I paid it the first year, because they send you a thing like they don't even like when I signed up again. I don't think that they ever mentioned that you have to pay this. Like, I'm sure it said it somewhere. I just don't remember seeing it. Like, I looked all over because I did the application. I mean, this was 4 or 5 years ago. So then they sent me a thing that was like, oh, you owe $500, blah, 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 blah. So I paid it, done. So then the next year rolled around, and I was like, I never got a receipt of payment. I never got, like, I was just nervous that, like, so I'm like, all right, let me wait until they send me something again. Then I can actually go on the thing. And they never sent me anything. So I was like, well, what the fuck? So then the next year comes by. And so I'm like, all right. So, like, now I owe, another $500. So, like, I'm like, all right, I'm fully preparing to pay $1,000 to these people now. And then I get another notice that's like, oh, you're backdated, like another $500. So it was like $1,500. So I think I'm good through next year. I have to call them after the payment goes through. Like, once I get the receipt that they got the payment, I'm gonna have to call them and be like, all right, so when do I have to pay this next amount? Like, this is what I paid. This is what I've paid. Like, whatever. So yeah, I'm hoping. So I sent that in, and I had to pay like certified mail to send that in. Oh yeah, so I did. I got the money. I was worried about getting the money. I was like, oh, I'll do like a whatnot auction. I'll do a yard sale. I was having all these plans in my head of how I was going to come up with this money, and it was coming. Like, I was getting there. I was almost to that $1,500 by myself. And then we had these jackets that we got from an estate clean out. It was. I'm trying to think. Oh, it was an estate clean out. They were for my wife's grandfather's estate. And so we cleaned it out, and I tried to give it to the family. I'm like, this stuff is worth money. They didn't want it. And then I tried to so I tried a couple times to give it to them. They initially were like, we don't really want to deal with that stuff, whatever. So then I went back there, and I reiterated, like, yeah, you guys should really think about doing something with this. So then I think they try to give it to somebody who is like a museum or something. I don't remember, but they didn't want it. So they were like, so as far as I had heard before we had gone back to do the estate sale, is that they wanted it. So that they were like, oh, we want to keep that stuff. So then I get there, and they left a box with all that stuff in it. It was like, a couple jackets, a hat from World War II. They left a note. They're like, hey, we decided we don't want to keep this stuff. Just put it in the estate sale. and we'll be done with it. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like, well, I'm going to take it because I know this stuff goes for money. And worst case scenario, I'll just give it to my vintage clothing guy, and, that's that. So take it back. It goes into the garage or into the basement. And I'm like, I'm doing the thing where I'm having to move it fucking to different places. I'm putting it with the clothes. I'm putting it over here. I'm putting it over here. Just kind of putting it everywhere. And when that stuff happens, then I'm like, all right, I just want this shit gone. I'm just like, I get like not overwhelmed, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. So then I hit up my vintage clothing guy. I was like, hey, I have a bunch of stuff for you. Come through, look at it. So he looks at all the stuff. I show him the Army stuff. I'm like, is this anything you're interested in? He's like, no. He's like, I really don't. He's like, you should look up some of those patches, but he's like, I really, I don't know. I don't really want it. So I'm like, all right. So I take it. So at this point, I'm like, fuck, do I just put it in the yard sale pile? Like, is this shit just not worth any money? So finally, I'm like, all right, I'm going to just put it as a lot. I'll put it as a lot on eBay and just list it high and see what happens. So I put it up as a lot, and I was like, I'll start start it at like 250. Not even start it. I was like, I'm going to put it for buy it now for 250 because I looked at comps, and comps were kind of like all over the place. I didn't see anything crazy high. So I was like, all right. So I put it up for 250, and like a few minutes later it sold. And I was like, well, that was crazy. Like maybe I priced it too low. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Like I just wanted it gone. So then I get a couple messages like, hey, I'd pay you 6 times, what that stuff sold for any stuff from this veteran, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, shit. So I did what I never fucking do. I'm going to probably get shit for this. But I canceled the sale. I know. You're not supposed to do that. It's bad business. It looks fucking shady. But I really fucking could use that money. So I was like, all right, I'm going to cancel it, relist it, and I'll do it as an auction. So I send a message to the buyer. I'm like, hey, sorry, this is supposed to be relisted as an auction. Apologize. Like, it is what it is. I thought they were going to be pissed. They actually weren't that upset about it because they knew, you kind of know. So I put it up as an auction, and, I'm talking back and forth with the people who had messaged me. I even messaged the other person that had originally bought it to be like, yeah, it's back at auction. And so they're like, can we get this deal done, blah, 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 blah. So I ended up like going back and forth. They kept going higher and higher. So we ended up coming up with a price of like $2,250. So that's what the end final price was. I ended up taking an offer of $2,250. Of course, eBay took like $300 of that. So I think it cleared like $1,900, but that was enough to fucking, I immediately, as soon as it cleared in my bank account, got a money order, sent it in, paid off the business stuff. So it's like, as soon as it got there, it was gone. But yeah, I had to do it. I couldn't, I had to take the risk, that they weren't going to ding my account. But luckily the person was cool about it because they obviously understood. They're probably some fucking old person that were just like, so they actually messaged me and they were like, hey, when can I bid on that? And I was like, the fucking auction already ended. Like, you're way behind, buddy. So, but yeah, that was crazy. So that was like probably my biggest sale to date. And yeah, the money's already went to fucking business shit. So that was fun. But yeah, I couldn't believe nobody wanted that shit. I tried to give it away. Nobody wanted it. And then, yeah. So you just never know. I mean, I probably should have let the auction ride, but like, you just want to get it done. You want the money now. I didn't want to have to wait for the whole 7 days. So I was like, fuck it, I'll take it. And if it was like, if it was worth a crazy more than that, you know what I mean? Those people would have been bidding on it. So it might have been worth a little bit more, but I ended up getting, $2,000 more than the initial sale. So, it is what it is. I had to kind of do what I had to do in that situation. I might catch shit for it. Normally I would never cancel a sale, but that was a huge discrepancy. And, in that situation when multiple people are like, oh, I'll pay a lot more money, and then like people are trying to give me like I'll give it a good home and blah blah blah. But the guy who I sold it to actually came back with some more information about my wife's grandfather, so he sent us a bunch of shit about him. And then it said like, oh yeah, that's right, they had like different stories about him. It has like his profile or whatever, and it said like his race, and it said like some Mexican. I was like, yo, you're fucking Mexican. I'm like, what? I'm like, you're fucking Mexican. So I don't know what the fuck that was. She's like, I didn't think we were Mexican. I don't think we had any Spanish in us. But I don't know what that was, if it was like a typo or if it was from the other person or what. But I'm pretty sure that information is regularly available online, so I don't think I'm letting any cat out of the bag or anything like that. But yeah, so that was crazy. I couldn't believe that was like a really, it came when we needed it the most. You know what I mean? In this business, it's up and down. Some days it's busier. Sometimes it's dead. And occasionally you get those big fucking sales that you need them right when they happen, and that was one of those sales. So I was pretty happy about that. But all in all, yeah, just getting ready for Christmas now, ahead of the game. Already got some presents done. Let me see if I have anything else to talk about. I think I might just wrap it up a little bit early just because we're getting close to the holidays, and I've got a ton of shit still to do. What the fuck? Why can I not get... So I think I've talked about I guess I can talk real quick. I just think I've been going down the rabbit hole of that guy who killed the healthcare CEO, and I still don't know like whose side he's on. You know what I mean? I still don't know like if he actually did it, if the guy they're saying did it. It's just that whole fucking story is crazy. It's just wild. Some of the shit that that comes out that you can like go down the rabbit hole on is wild, because I've been like, and I don't like to devote too much of my free time to stuff like that, because it's ultimately it's a waste of my time. Other shit I can be reading, other shit I can do, but reading about the hell this guy, like, until they have all the facts, it's just like, people just kind of pontificating at this point, like they don't really actually know, they're just kind of saying some shit. All right, well, I guess that's the podcast. I will wrap it up just a couple minutes early. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else I can talk about for fucking 6 or 7 minutes just so I can get it to a full hour since we're here right now? Anything else? Let me see. Go on X or Twitter or whatever it's called. Oh, yeah, there's like drones in New Jersey. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit going on right now. I'm just over here trying to enjoy being a reseller. I watched a YouTube video the other day. It was like a reseller, and the guy who had the sale was like complaining about this guy showing up early at his house. Like, he showed up at 7, knocking on the door. He's like, "Are you open?" Now I get some people like, "Oh, that's like, you know what I mean?" But it's like all you have to do is say yes or no. It's like, "Oh, that guy's been a pain in my ass at 7:00 in the morning." It's like, because he asked you if you were open. Like, did you say no? Like, okay. So it took 2 seconds to have an interaction with him. Like, you told him no, then he has to wait. Okay, cool. So that was kind of funny that he like, and I get it. Like, I just don't understand people getting so annoyed with people who are early to sales. You're not a fucking retail store. Typically you're doing 1 day or 2. So why the fuck do you care if somebody's there early? Like, if they're rude about it, yeah, but if you're just like, "Hey, you open?" Oh, God. Are we open? Are we open? Does it look like we're open? It's like half the time most of the shit should have been done before the day of the sale anyway. If it's a yard sale, then yeah, obviously you're pulling the shit out mostly likely the day of. But if it's an estate sale and you're like, "Oh, I'm coming in from somewhere else," and it's like, yeah, typically you're coming in a few days before. You're not just coming in that day. And if you are coming in that day, that's poor planning on your part. Don't be mad at me because I'm wondering if you're open. You know what I mean? Sometimes people will open early. You know, that guy could probably do that 10 times, and half the time people are like, yeah, sure, we're open. You know what I mean? So it just, I don't understand. The people in the comments are like, you know, sucking the YouTuber's dick. And it's a YouTuber I like. I'm not even going to bust him out. It's a YouTuber I like. But just the fact that they're like, you know, they posted like, don't be like this guy. It's like, don't be like this guy. He's a fucking reseller. Like, and then it was like the guy was haggling, and he was just like going back and forth. He's like, oh, I would do like 40. And the guy's like, nah, I got to get 50. It's like, obviously, clearly, like, if it's over $10, you know what I mean? And it's the stuff that he had, it was like, all right, like, just do the, you know, just do the $40. But it's like, oh, that guy was pissing me off because he was here early. The fuck? Like, from the video, it's just like, yeah, the guy was kind of like, you know what I mean? But it's like, he's saying all the shit that you say as a reseller. It's like, who the fuck? No, you can't bust people out for fucking trying to get a better deal and trying to get there first. Like, you know, that shit didn't make sense to me. That only took like 4 minutes, so I still have about 4 more minutes to get to a clean and crisp 60 minutes. I started watching the new Star Wars Skeleton Crew show. We liked it. Started falling asleep the first day just because we were so fucking tired. Anytime I'm tired like that, I cannot, like, I just can't stay awake. So we tried watching it. Well, first the TV wasn't working, or the internet or something, so it kept like freezing when we were trying to watch it the first time. So then we went back to go watch it, and once it was finally working, then I started falling asleep. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I can't stay awake for that. But it's good. It's like the Goonies meets Star Wars. I know that's how everybody's comparing it, but I mean, that's basically what it is. It's like, oh, a bunch of kids going on a space adventure, get into trouble and are in space, you know what I mean? So I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting. I was wondering how they were going to get to like these kids in space, and like, you know, it's pretty cool. They find like a crash landed ship, and there's things that happen. But if you're, you know, I know a lot of people won't watch Disney because they're like, oh, that shit's all fucking woke nonsense. See, there's like the other side of that is really annoying too. You know what I mean? Like being on the side that like you can't watch anything because it's all woke. It's like, come on, like you can watch a kids show about kids getting lost in space, like, you know, without it being, you know, overly politicized. And again, I'm on the side that voted for Trump this time around. But yeah, it's just, I don't understand everybody being like, this show's woke, or this, like, yeah, okay, I get it. Some of it is, you know, some of it has those undertones that, like, the ones I don't like, it's like when you have a show and they're like, are trying to slide things in, like, that's like blatant propaganda. That's the problem that I have. Like, I get like all the shit, like, that's just kind of, I feel like what Disney does is they're like, oh, we want to be multicultural so we can have multicultural monies. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's more of that for Disney, whereas like, oh, they're trying to corrupt your kids. It's like, no, they just want your fucking money. Like, they want your money. But like, I feel like some shows will do it, and it's like they'll try to make like a little, like, you know, and they'll try to say something where it's like, well, no, that was proven false, and you're like joking about it. Like, the people that believe it are fucking idiots. You know, when I see shit like that, when I'm like, oh, this is like clear propaganda, that annoys me. But if it's just like, I mean, you know, sometimes forced diversity can be annoying if it's like doesn't make sense. But I also, the thing that, like, I watched that Chernobyl show a few years back, and it's like a Russian Ukrainian event, and everybody has a British accent and they're speaking fucking British. Like, that shit made I loved that show. It was really good. It was intense. It was interesting. But it was like, why the fuck did you do it with British actors? It made absolutely no fucking sense. The whole time I was confused. I was like, why are they speaking with British accents? Why are they talking like this? This has nothing to do with Chernobyl or Ukraine or wherever the fuck Chernobyl was. Russia, whatever the fuck. So like, stuff like that that can be annoying. You know, even though that shit was really good, it was just like, why? It was just a weird choice to just make everybody British. Like, you couldn't have just given them Russian accents. Like, you couldn't even fucking go Eastern European. Sometimes, like, everybody's British. It just made absolutely no fucking sense. That was a weird one. So, like, it goes both ways. You know, I understand the people that are like, oh, everything Disney does is woke. But at the same time, it's like, you know, they were trying to make money. They want to they want as many people to come in as they can. So like, oh, let's do some shit about an Indian kid and a black kid and an Asian kid. Sorry, Asian is Indian. I fucking idiot. White kid, Latina. I don't know. All the kids, you know. Then they want all those money. So I don't know. I just went on a ramble for the last 1 minute, and I'm still not at 60 minutes. I thought this was going to be a quick thing, but all right, that's the podcast. Thanks for listening. Subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll be back again soon, hopefully before the new year. I'm going to try to do a Christmas episode. So maybe next week or the week after with my wife, do some eggnog. I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe my friends. I don't know who will do it. We'll see. I'm going to try to get a group one in. So, all right. Peace.